Thank you for tuning in. You're in for an educational treat. What piece of junk did you find that turned out to be valuable? Years ago I bought a condo in foreclosure. We couldn't go inside, just look from outside and put in a bid. My bid won. When I went inside the place, it was pretty trashed. I checked all the rooms, calculating the costs of getting it back into shape. At the end of my walkthrough I went into the garage and saw there was a car under a tarp. I pulled the tarp back and saw a 1972 Barracuda in nearly mint condition. Everyone singing Barracuda by heart in their head after reading that. Yep, I'm part of everyone this time. I found a small envelope with a few inches of wire in a junk shop. Bought it, $2, because it had some faded penciling about Troy Oz. Turned out to about 1.5 Troy ounces of platinum wire. Sold it for $600. Who's Troy? A bed's bestie. Troy and a bed in the morning. I found a very small, round piece of metal on the floor in my workplace. I couldn't figure out what the item was and knew I should just discard it, but felt compelled to keep it for some reason. That afternoon my coworker was distraught. The unique type of battery that her cochlear implant needed fell out, and was probably in a dumpster somewhere because the cleaners had come through. I gave her the weird piece of metal in my pocket, and she almost burst into tears from relief. Either that or she was crying because she thinks I'm the type of person to steal batteries from cochlear implants. She saw, but never heard it coming. A few years ago, I was looking through the Goodwill website that lets you bid on stuff that you find. I stumbled across one of the Texas Goodwill's pages, and then saw an auction for a huge box of phone accessories that no one was bidding on. I started looking through all the pictures, started researching some of the brands, and started realizing the whole box was worth a decent bit. I took a shot, and made my bid. Someone else saw what I saw, and started a bidding war with me, but I eventually won with a bid of $106, then $24 for shipping. Few days go by, and I finally get the box, well, 2 boxes, and they were both huge. Started taking inventory, and ended with 100 iPhone chargers, 100 Android chargers, about 250 iPhone 8 cases in all different styles, 80 battery packs, a few iPad cases, and about 1,000 screen protectors. Turned my $130 total investment into an eBay business, and made almost $8,000 in about 9 months. Found a fake Cartier watch in Goodwill for $10. Bought it because it still looked nice. But it's a real Cartier watch and it's worth $1,000 plus. Keeping it because I'd never buy myself something like that. I'd never buy myself something like that. But you did, albeit for $10. Reddit 1, Internet Guy 0. Well, a dickhead couch surfer who crashed in my guest room for a few months left behind a 1970s Fender Super Twin tube amp worth $1,800 he didn't know about. It made cleaning up his piss bottles worth it. Please tell me you played it. The piss bottles? I played Africa by Toto on them. So my family went to a nearby town's vintage sale thing. My dad found this dirty old glass milk bottle, and he got excited when he found it. I didn't know what he found so exciting since it was just a milk bottle. After we got home, he explained that it was a milk bottle from a dairy farm. One of the co-founders of that farm was my great-great-grandfather, on my dad's side. When one of the world wars began, he sold it off to the other founder. Farmers. Not much monetary value but a lot of emotional value. Wholesome. Dad carried around a junk guitar for 50 years. Ugly as hell sunburst Gibson acoustic, circa 50s or 60s, can't remember, that he eventually sanded down into something prettier. When I was learning he took it to be tuned up by our neighbor who owned a shop and was a collector. Dude came back exasperated and told us that my dad had sanded about $50K off the guitar, and that it would have been totally worthless if he hadn't left the logo on. I got to sand it and was grimacing pretty hard, not going to lie. So was our poor neighbor. I'd never seen someone sad cringe before that moment. Someone gave me a hideous purse out of a box on its way to Goodwill. I sold it on eBay for $1,100. I've had some good flips, but that was the best. Was it some expensive brand or something? I know purses can get expensive but assumed not much resale value. My friends and I were at a concert and found this broken bracelet under a merch table as we were about to leave the venue. It had an interesting engraving on it, something about being a son and friend. Because it was broken we were thinking about just tossing it, but ended up throwing it in our backpack to bring to the office later. My friend worked at the venue so she was going to turn it in. The next week I was browsing Reddit on a thread of the same kind of music we were listening to at the show, and just as I was about to fall asleep, someone's post caught my eye. It said something like, "This is a long shot but I lost something." And it piqued my interest, so I clicked it. It was someone from that same show asking if anyone had found a silver bracelet. Turns out it was the same one we found, and it seemed to be a special gift from the person's parent and they were looking for it. We connected and got the bracelet returned to the guy, and the whole interaction is actually in my Reddit history. It's a fun, albeit quick, read. I was at an estate sale and bought a few paintings. Sweet lady told me to take the last one I liked as package deal since I ran out of cash. Turns out one of them is a pretty rare original print worth about $3,500, and I paid maybe $30 for all 4 prints and paintings I wanted. My aunt died, cancer, tragic. My family did what they always do. Go into mine mode. There was a tiny painting I always liked. I asked my cousin, she could have cared less. She's gotta have the 10-year-old Buick. Fight. The painting is worth a crazy amount. The car is in the dump now. I will have the painting forever. No offense, but this kinda reads like in Japan, heart surgeon. From The Office. When I was younger, I would rummage around the drawers and cabinets in my grandmother's house, just adventuring and discovering, which is what I called it. I happened to find this old folded piece of paper, but it only took 3 seconds for me to just disregard it and push it aside. I think I was trying to get something else that I saw. After I finished with whatever I had, I picked up the piece of paper to throw it away. Out of childlike curiosity, I opened it up and saw the words in it. It looked like a letter. It seemed important, so I gave it to my grandmother, who gave it to my mother when she came to pick me up. My grandmother is blind. Come to find out, it was a love letter from my grandfather to my grandmother. That really made their day. Weird painting of a cat with birds on its back no one wanted. Paid $20, worth $400. Investments on paintings happen like that. My mom got a painting for $300, but after a while, it now costs $15,000. She is waiting to sell it. My mom thought she did. Bought a ton of stuff done by her fave artist. Kept saying she got it at a steal and it was worth way more. Artist got screwed when he got Alzheimer's and people took advantage somehow, I don't remember, but now his work isn't worth anything. Old folded up piece of paper in the bottom of a box my dad had I found cleaning up the house, torn up and faded. Turned out to be a 90-year-old original Jean Carlu poster worth roughly $20,000 after spending $1,000 for restoration. What kind of restoration is available for a poster? Tear repair, flattening, infills, stain fading, white bleaching, acidity removal, tape removal, etc. A first or second edition of the Oregon Trail book. It's a bit damaged, so not that valuable, but still a few hundred more than the $15 I paid for it. But now you have dysentery. A really old dollar bill I found in an old Bible. It's worth around $100. I found a misprint $1 bill that had 2 zeros after the 1, turns out it's worth about $100. Lol. What would have been your answer or question? Leave it in the comments below. Slap that like and subscribe button for more, and check out the link in the video description for even more answers. Peace out, and catch you in the next video.